today we have Paul and Steve for our next round.
That will be our next break talk.
Yeah, that'll be I'm excited for Mill, by the way. That's my favorite archetype.
It's much nicer when they start with 40.
Exactly. So it looks like Paul is on an Imminent Doom deck and Steve is on Mono Black Control.
Imminent Doom, one of those cards, it never hit it off, but it has huge potential.
Yeah. It basically, if you get the counters correct, it just starts kind of waterfalling down, if that's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. We're going Yahtzee again.
So what do we have
It'll be interesting
here?
to see how Paul's deck is tuned to take advantage of Imminent Doom. Imminent Doom, as Jake just pulled up, enters with 1 counter.
Yep.
If you cast a spell, it costs the same amount of... It has converted mana cost equal to the number of counters on it.
Okay.
You put a counter on it, and it deals damage equal to that cost to a permanent, to a creature or player. So it enters with 1. If I cast a 1 mana spell,
Yep.
I deal 1 damage to a creature or player and put a counter on Imminent Doom.
Okay.
Then it has 2 counters. If I cast a 2 mana spell,
Yep.
I deal 2 damage to a creature or player, put a counter on Doom.
Okay.
And it keeps going and going and
So
going.
so if you cast something very like a large like a 6, if you have 6 Doom counters, you cast a 6 spell, it does 6 additional damage.
So a perfect example of a 6 spell would be Banefire.
Yep.
For 5. So 1 red
okay.
plus
Yep.
5.
Banefire,
That
new
would
card
deal
from M19.
Yep. That would deal 5 from Banefire
Yep.
plus 6 from Imminent Doom for a total of 11.
That's wow. Okay.
Huge potential,
Sounds fun. I'm in.
right?
And so Mono Black Control, I'm guessing Torment of Hailfires at the end of it. We got some Lilianas.
This might
Hand
even make it into my
Disruption.
Nicole Bolas deck.
Oh, yeah.
He's standing right there. Well, floating right there.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
The
but
theme,
he's right there.
is good. He's
It-
bringing doom.
It might just devolve into a whole deck of
He's-
pictures of Nicole Bolas.
When I see this card, when the counter goes on, I just have to imagine someone just going doom. Just like very.
I don't know who
Every
you're
time.
talking about.
I may have played Andy a few times with his Imminent Doom
I
deck.
may have an Imminent Doom deck at home. Very good card. I was actually inspired to build that deck by Paul, who's
Yeah.
taking it in a different direction for me, but I'm going to have fun watching it anyway.
I am excited to see.
Meanwhile,
how
we
this
had
plays out.
Steve
Yep.
with his Mono Black Control, which he has been tweaking.
I mean, I played against
For several
Steve's
iterations
Mono Black
now.
Control at the Star Championship, so I'm not sure if what major changes. I know he was talking about reviving an old treasure deck he had. I don't know if this is
Sick.
the same thing. I have no idea. We'll see how it goes.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Steve always brings something interesting to the table.
Oh,
like
he's
a
got
little
the
smiley
happy,
face.
He's got the happy face. That's my favorite move on stream.
Reminds me of Forrest Gump when he wiped the mud off his face on the shirt.
So it looks like he has a pretty decent starting. I see a Ravenous Chupacabra, Treasure Map, and I'm not sure what that last one is. Maybe a Fatal Push?
Hard to tell from this angle. I'm seeing at least 2 lands in Paul's hand. Nope, that's 3 lands.
Alright, so yeah, we have 5 lands, Cabal Stronghold,
Fatal Push, and a Ravenous Chupacabra.
Chupacabra. Okay. So Cabal Stronghold will help him utilize his swamps.
Paul being very helpful.
Yeah. Alright,
3
so
lands, Lightning Strike.
Supreme Will, Gutter Snipe,
I was wondering if he had Gutter Snipe in there
and
now.
Cathartic Reunion.
Seems good.
Okay, yeah, seems great. Gutter Snipe is actually probably a pretty key.
Makes a lot of sense
Yeah,
in this deck.
does 2 damage for every. Yeah, very cool reprint. Awesome open house
Promo.
promo. Yep.
Alright, so opening turn's pretty slow.
Yep.
Looks like a Vraska's Contempt, possibly.
Yeah, I think he just drew a Raskus into him.
So Steve's hand not pairing up very well against Paul's right now. He does have Fatal Push, but that's not enough to get rid of the Gutter Snipe, which
Yep.
is the only real target that I expect Paul to present to him.
And his next spell is reasonably counterable with Supreme Will. So
Looks like Paul's getting rid of some extra lands,
Yep.
drawing 3 cards off Cathartic Reunion, which represents the moment when Chandra reunited with her mother.
That art is beautiful.
Yep. Sadly, not reunited with her father. You don't normally see a red mage look that peaceful.
Howard Lyon.
I'm going to start to weep soon if you
This
leave that
is
up
one
there,
of
Jake.
This is one of the really nice arts. Howard Lyon actually does alterations of this at a lot of the GPs. That's
Really?
like really beautiful. Like he reframes them and foil paints them and stuff.
Seems
very
nice.
cool. Yeah. It looks like Steve's coming out with a gifted Aetherborn 2/3 lifelinker.
Well, lifelink going to be kind of important if that imminent doom starts kicking off.
Absolutely.
Paul does have a lightning strike to deal with it, but I'm wondering if he's going to save that for counters.
And part of the thing is he might actually play the Gutter Snipe so you can get full value out of any spell
Right.
that he wants to get.
Oh yeah!
Oh, he goes
drew the
straight.
doom.
He goes straight for imminent doom.
Doom.
The namesake card.
Steve taking a look. I'm going to flip my hat on this one, just like Steve,
All right,
because it's getting real.
You're rally capping it.
Oh.
All right,
Game on.
I like it.
All right, Steve, I love you, but
So
it's doom time.
I like Steve would have turned that around and been like, how do I deal with this? Because I'm not sure what it does just yet.
It appears Ben, like Steve, will turn that around.
Yep.
And he's going to review it as well.
That's fair.
All right, so now Imminent Doom is in play. So I would expect the next spell to be a 1-mana spell.
Sounds reasonable if he
Or
has
a
it.
Gutter Snipe.
Yeah. So Steve gets in for 2 lifelinks. I see an Opt in hand, which would cover the 1-mana spell.
It sure will.
And Lightning Strike. So he could probably play Gutter Snipe here and then opt to...
On Steve's turn. I would opt.
Yeah. Yep. Or in response to anything killing the Gutter Snipe.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I would definitely plan on that 1 mana to get my Doom counters going. Alright, so passing back, not wanting to offer up a Gutter Snipe yet.
So one of the things that's interesting is that he might have left the mana up for Supreme Will.
Very good choice.
So, worst case scenario, he gets 1 Doom counter. And
Deals
then
1 damage.
Deals 1 damage. If he can get a land, the next turn he can play his Gutter Snipe with mana up for Lightning Strike.
Alright, so after attacker is declared, he can now Lightning Strike
Yeah.
to kill the Aetherborn
Yep.
and deal 2 more damage as well.
And more importantly, stop the lifelink, which
Yep.
in this kind of deck seems like would be quite a nuisance.
It sure does.
So he bottoms a card, draws the next one. Looks like he wants to Lightning Strike here, maybe?
Lightning Strike seems like the right play to me.
Yep.
That's going to prevent taking damage, and it's going to deal 3 to Steve.
So, yep, it looks like he's going to Lightning Strike the Aetherborn.
And indicating 2 damage from the Doom to Steve.
Yep.
Advancing the Doom counters. So much Doom.
So the interesting thing is, too, the next turn he can play Gutter Snipe.
For 3 damage.
3 damage, yep. And... okay.
So opting. I almost said opting for no value here. That's how good the Imminent Doom feels.
Opt is a valuable
Opt
card
is value
in itself. Yeah.
But when you have an Imminent Doom on the table, it feels very good when you're adding counters.
It feels nice, and then especially if Paul can start stacking those higher cost spells.
Yep.
Now, go ahead.
He showed us earlier he does have Banefire in there.
Yep.
I would not be surprised at all to see other X spells, as that's a very
it's a
versatile
flexible
way to get your counters on the Doom counter.
And one of the big things is that mono black control, if you know, it's very efficient because it has such good removal.
Creature removal.
Exactly. So if Paul is using this kind of spells kind of thing right now, a lot of Steve's good cards are probably dead, and there's no way for Steve to counter anything for there's no counter spells in a black control deck. It's all kill a thing or discard a thing.
Would you care to guess how many cards in Magic history black has that destroy enchantments?
That destroy enchantments?
That destroy enchantments.
Oh boy. We're not talking about multicolor, just strictly black.
That only costs black mana to cast, yes.
Okay. Because, you know, we could always Abrupt Decay / Maelstrom Pulse stuff, but black that kills it's pretty out of the color pie.
If anybody in chat knows how many spells in Magic history that are castable with only black can destroy enchantments.
I'm going to say 1, and it has to be in like one of like the old sets, like Invasion or like Mirage or something. Something weird where the color pie hadn't been like heavily established yet.
I'm just verifying the name
Okay.
before I tell you.
Okay.
And that gives chat time if you guys have any suggestions.
Catch up to us.
So after Steve's turn, I will tell you.
So the Ravenous Chupacabra.
So Chupacabra is going to kill the Gutter Snipe, but this way Paul gets an extra 2 damage in before it dies.
Yep. With the destroy the creature on the stack.
Took out the Chupacabra with it.
Yep. Now we still have clear boards here, and Paul is still looking on ways to stack up that Doom, Doom counter.
Okay, Steve passing back to turn. You are correct, Alex. Only one way.
One way.
Quagmire Druid.
And what I was right. Is that Invasion?
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. It's one of the old sets.
So, Jake, if you want to pull it up, Quag, just like the Family Guy character. Quagmire Druid.
Giggity giggity.
And it requires green mana.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Jake got the call.
Quagmire
Okay, this is actually
Druid.
the commander print, originally printed in Apocalypse.
Okay.
So, that is the only way Black has to destroy enchantments.
If it has to use green, I think green just has better efficient ways to do that, right?
If you're talking color identity,
Okay, sure.
that is a black-green card. I'm talking card color. That's a black card.
Looks like Steve is going to
Vraska's
Vraska's Contempt the Gutter Snipe, but in response, he's going to take 2 from the Gutter Snipe trigger with an opt.
Paul is making sure those Gutter Snipes are doing a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and that negates the 2 life gain off the Contempt.
He's going to bottom that one and draw,
Drew a Banefire.
which will let him stack the 4th counter if he wants to. So if he stacks the 4th one, does he do 8 damage then? Is that how that works?
You're saying if you cast a 4
Yeah.
mana spell and then in response cast a 4 mana instant?
So no, if he just casts a 4 mana spell now, he's going to deal 4 with the Banefire and then 4 again with the...
He would deal 3 with the Banefire, because 1 to start it.
Okay.
So he would deal a total of 7, which
Oh, I
is
see
half
what you're
of
saying.
Steve's
7.
life
Yeah,
total.
you're right. Gotcha.
Now,
Which is what's happening right here? No.
Nope. Walking Ballista on 2.
Yep.
So that's 4, which triggers.
So he'll
So
do
now
4
he
and
can do
gets a
Banefire
2-2.
for 5 next turn.
Yeah. This is a cool, fun deck. I like this.
Imminent Doom is awesome.
I like this. It's a little clunky, but it looks fun as heck.
Okay, so Fatal Push forcing the Walking Ballista to be sacrificed for 2 damage.
Yep, 2 are to the face. So then a Banefire for 4 here would do it next turn.
It
Or
sure
for
would.
5, rather.
No, for 4.
For 4.
X is 4.
X is
deals
4, dealing 9
9
total
damage.
damage. Whoa.
Which is lethal.
Ooh.
And without presenting any creatures, Vraska's Contempt is off the table.
Yep.
So drew an island, but he should still be able to do it.
Yep, because X equals 4 right here. This is sweet. Doom.
Okay, it looks like Steve passing the turn back.
Interesting.
Supreme Will. So he's checking. Not sure why he didn't just go for it.
Is there anything in black? No, I don't know.
Now, Banefire having the caveat, if X is 5 or more, it can't be countered. But with Steve on black, mono black, I think it would have been safe to
Yeah,
go
just
for
to
it.
roll, yeah. Yeah,
But
be
we're
an extra
watching,
safe.
we're not playing.
Yeah,
So,
be extra safe. It's not like you're in a position of
Yeah.
weakness here.
he's still got 18 life.
Yeah.
And an Imminent Doom with 5 counters on it. Found a land.
So let's see if he's just going to go for it right now. 4? 5.
Nope, that's only 4. The
Oh,
land
5.
tap.
Okay,
There's
5.
5. So
Banefire
now this is a
for 5?
Banefire for 4.
For 4, yeah. Mana
Pointing
cost
out
5.
the Imminent Doom trigger.
Trigger on the stack. Anything happening there? There's no...
So it looks
Drain
like he
life.
took 5 from the Imminent Doom, because that
Yeah.
actually comes off the stack first.
Right.
And now we're looking at 4 from Banefire, which it's not enough to hit the can't be prevented clause, but it's enough to do the
Black
job.
doesn't have a ton of counter spells.
No.
I'm pretty sure of that.
No, it doesn't.
So I think in the sideboard plan, we might see Steve bringing in whatever sort of duress package.
I would be taking out the majority of my creature removal,
Yeah.
which is probably what Steve is heavy on.
The Fatal
mono
Push.
black.
Yeah, Mono Black. Like Fatal Push, Vraska's Contempt.
Yeah. Now this is round 2, so both these decks, I believe, did well round 1.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure round 1, Steve's creature control was very important to the deck.
Yeah. One of the things that Mono Black is great at is being consistent because you don't have to deal with the crazy mana base.
Exactly.
You get what you need, and when you don't have to worry about crazy mana bases, you want to pick cards that are efficient. So Fatal Push is the best removal at instant speed in Black, and then you can get Vraska's Contempt, which you want to play anyway because it gets rid of all the pesky stuff like Scarab Gods, Hazarets, all the stuff that you don't like, or Planeswalkers, Karns, or Boluses even at this point.
So I hear you hyping up Mono Black's consistency.
Yeah.
I didn't hear a word about versatility.
So it's a little more narrow. So if you're not playing against decks that win through creatures, the only other way to deal with it is through hand disruption. So you'll probably bring in a ton of duresses, doomfalls, that sort of thing. Mono Black uses a Torment of Hailfire at its top end to kind of finish opponents off.
That is a very fun card to cast.
Yeah, so if it can keep the board clear and then get a ton of mana with stuff like Cabal Stronghold, which we saw Steve had, his 3, because you're all using swamps basically.
So those add up.
So exactly.
Or
So
exponentially.
if you can add 3 generic mana to Cabal Stronghold, the Cabal Stronghold can tap and make as much mana as you have swamps. So if you have like 7 swamps, 3 turns into 7, and then you have another, a couple of these kind of things, and then you play Torment of Hailfire, and that's one big trigger. I mean, you play that for like 15 or something, and all of a sudden your opponent has not enough cards to discard or things to sacrifice on the board, and if you have nothing on the board, he'll have to either discard his hand or take the damage. So
Now,
we'll see what happens here.
You're talking about Torrent of Hailfire
Yes.
in Steve's Mono Black.
Yep.
Care to guess what my finisher and my Imminent Doom was?
If you say Sunbird's Invocation or something like that, so just like cascade things more, I wouldn't
I'm
be
going to say
surprised.
Torment of Hailfire.
Torment of Hell.
That was my finisher in my Imminent
Oh,
Doom.
you played Rakdos Imminent Doom?
I played Grixis Imminent Doom.
Grixis. Well, okay. Then at that point, we gotta be You gotta do your Super Friends deck just with Imminent Doom.
That's why I'm saying Imminent Doom is going into my Super Friend
Yeah,
deck.
there's so much flavor there, but there's like also so much Doom. Can you imagine like 3 boluses and like an Imminent Doom bolus showing up? Like that's like overkill.
Once I get to 8 mana, watch out.
Thank you so much for the host, Apoptosis. We do
Hey.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Welcome everybody. We are broadcasting live our first FNM with Core 2019. We've seen Banefire show up actually in this last
We
match.
sure did.
I'm Alex. I'm here with Andy.
Hello.
We're broadcasting from Other Realms, Nimitz Center in Honolulu, Hawaii. Comic and game specialists. We are checking out Steve and Paul in their round 2 matchup. Paul's on Imminent Doom, took the first game of a best of 3, and we're going to game 2 after sideboards, and it looks like both our players are getting ready to do mulligans and that sort of thing. I think Steve will be on the play here.
Now, we talked a lot about being on the play versus on the draw last week. In Constructed, because we were talking
You're
about
on the
limited
play.
then. In Constructed, always on the play.
Unless you're playing some sort of 8-rack, very limited, exclusive to the exclusion to the rule sort of thing, you're probably playing first.
Speaking of 8-rack,
Yes.
next Friday, care to guess what format we're playing?
Are we playing Modern next Friday?
No.
No. What is next Friday?
I'm gonna
Sealed?
verify this before I go too deep in on this.
I'm gonna go with Sealed.
Next Friday we're playing Sealed.
Okay.
So, care to guess what we're playing on Saturday?
This Saturday or next
Saturday we are playing Popper.
Is there 8-rack Popper?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I'm trying to segue into Popper.
Okay,
Let's leave Popper.
I like Popper. Popper is my thing, man. I'm going to be bringing the same deck I always bring and always lose with, but I don't care. It's my favorite Popper deck. I get to play Ponder. I get to play Gurmag Angling. All the best cards. I get to play Counterspell.
You can play all sorts of stuff in Pauper.
Exactly.
You can get super crazy.
What's your favorite Pauper deck?
My favorite Pauper deck is my blue-white bounce.
Blue-white bounce? Okay.
Yep.
Is that Reality Acid?
Of course it's Reality Acid.
Acid.
You know me
of
so well.
Of course it's Reality Acid. Okay.
You know me so well.
That's fair. Alright, it looks like they're doing mulligans here. Paul's looking at his first 7.
But so that should be a good time. Friday sealed. Come and get your Core 2019.
Yep, get the fix in.
And then Saturday we'll follow it up with Pauper next week.
Looks like we got 3 lands, Duress like we talked about.
There's a Torment.
I'm surprised that he kept Fatal Push in, but maybe he knows more than we do. Actually, it kind of deals with Gutter Snipe if he gets rid of something, but that's about it.
I
don't like Fatal
Vraska's
Push.
Contempt I like keeping
Yeah,
it.
I'm okay with that. I probably would have taken out the Fatal Push. The
Fatal
Duress
Push
is
is a little
good.
iffy.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 Shocks, Imminent Doom, and 4 mana.
Yep. It looks like the turn 1
Decent
Duress will take care of the Imminent Doom.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
So we'll see how this goes.
Which is exactly what you were talking about, Black's way to deal with stuff that I can't otherwise deal with.
You have no way to deal with it once it's out, but you can get ahead of the game by taking it out of their hand.
I don't think there's Paul trying to suggest a shock.
I think he's asking. I think he's asking, "Are you sure you don't want the shock?" He's sure. He wants Imminent Doom.
That looked almost like a 3-card Monty effort at the end there.
Come here, little shock.
Alright, so now Paul's got to find himself another Imminent Doom.
Yep, because just shooting shocks at Steve's face is probably going to run out of steam pretty soon.
I think he will find it. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because it's imminent.
That's you got me there, Andy.
Thank you.
You got me there. But
Alright.
Alright, so we'll see if Paul
Paul drew an Opt.
Alright.
He's got Opt and 2 Shocks, so I think it's safe to use an Opt to go digging to find the next Imminent Doom.
Yep. Steve is just building up his massive black mana base.
Steve just getting ready to fire off a Torment of Hailfire at will.
That's the way he wants to do it.
Search for Iskanta gonna help dig also, but that's a 2-mana spell.
Banefire's nice. So he really does need to just find Imminent Doom if he wants to do that.
I think it's worth casting your 2-mana spell without it.
Yep.
Even though that does throw off your ladder.
Oh, definitely. Search for Iskanta is an enabler, and Steve, like you said, Black does not have a ton of ways to deal with enchantments when they're on the board. So
now, interestingly, Torment of Hailfire does deal with it.
You're right.
Because that's one of the things that Paul might need to sacrifice if his life total gets too low.
Absolutely. Torment of Hailfire, however much this gets cast for, I think is going to be the key decider in this specific round.
As you were saying, he's got 2 swamps. Once he hits 3, those Cabal Strongholds are active. Once he hits 4, they're producing mana.
Cabal Strongholds are not legendary, right?
No. They are not. Wizards has flip-flopped a bit on their legendary status of landmark locations over the years. Sometimes they have been legendary, other times they have not.
Fair. So search for Iskanta trigger. Looks like he been an island. Yep.
And I think he then drew a mountain. Gutter Snipe? He does still have shocks up, so he can get a trigger off Gutter Snipe instant speed.
So without the Imminent Doom plan, Gutter Snipe is a pretty decent secondary plan.
Gutter Snipe does very good work if it stays on the board.
Correct. However, Vraska's Contempt looks like it's a pretty clean answer to this and gains Steve a little bit of life.
And it's almost like his deck is telling him to cast it because it didn't give him a 5th land.
Right.
So
he will get shocked to the face and take 2 from the Gutter Snipe trigger.
Here comes the in response, Vraska's Contempt.
Yep.
And gain those 2 life right back from the Gutter Snipe.
Yep. He will still take the first 2 because it's a cast trigger.
Still takes 2. Yep. So Steve's at 18. Seems correct to me.
Yep. So Paul coming in with a new search for Iskanta trigger. Is that another shock right there? I think that's.
He had a second in hand, and he's looking at one on top.
Yeah.
That seems safe to get rid of.
Yeah, I think he needs to find some action, either in the imminent Doom side or another Gutter Snipe.
Really wanting that Imminent Doom. Come on, come on.
The other big thing is if he can get actually 7 cards into the graveyard, he can flip the Azcanta and he can start searching for
digging real
cards.
hard to find
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So he hit a Chandra. He did have a 4th land in hand.
Yep.
Or 5th land, sorry. So Chandra's going to help him dig even more now. Interestingly, at this point, I don't know if I want to exile my top card because
I think it's just free damage.
Okay.
Either way, but
I always hit my key cards when I do it.
That it happens. It's one of those things you have to just. It comes with the territory.
If I don't have open mana, I always hit exactly the card I want to find.
Right.
Or don't want to find at that point.
It's always like when you mulligan and you check the first card.
I never check. Never, ever, ever check.
So one thing is Paul played Chandra knowing that Steve had already Vraska's Contempted the last turn, thinking maybe it'd be safe.
Yep.
But unfortunately, he had a second copy. Steve will gain 2 more life.
It still got rid of a land for Paul, so
Yep.
he's digging effectively.
And this is why I still like having Vraska's Contempt in the deck. It deals with stuff like Chandra.
Right.
If for some reason...
It's a more versatile answer
Yeah.
than Ravenous Chupacabra or...
Exactly. Because especially the only creatures you really saw were Gutter Snipe in the previous matchup, so
Supreme will, I think, probably do a little more digging on Steve's end step.
Yep.
If there's not a big enough threat. Now, he does have Liliana. He's just stuck on 4 land, though.
He has double Torment of Hellfire, another Vraska's, yeah.
Is that...
Fatal Push.
Oh, Fatal Push from the opening hand, yep.
So there's a couple cards that are kind of dead, too, because Noxious Gearhulk is nothing to target either.
Right.
Ooh.
Still looking for that
Double Banefire, though.
Okay, so he takes a Banefire, bottom. The rest go on the bottom.
Yep.
And that's now 5 or 6?
6 in the graveyard.
So he could flip Azcanta this turn.
He needs 7 for Azcanta.
Well, it's going to put one in the graveyard.
Yeah. He'll shock to make...
Shock gets him up there.
Yep.
Now, he has 2 Banefires in hand. He can cast Banefire X0, which would make it cast 1 mana, which will put a counter on Imminent Doom if he finds it.
Okay. So he's going to get his last Azcanta trigger just to check it out. To basically scry a card.
Left it on top. The shock gave him enough that he's able to flip Azcanta.
Is that a
really
negate?
tell.
That looks like a negate. Yeah.
Counterspell.
Yep.
Which means... Oh.
Big Banefire can't be countered.
Yeah. 5 damage.
Straight to the face. I haven't seen... Banefire is actually an interesting card because I think for kind of mono red finishers and other kind of spell based decks, we might start seeing that a lot as just maybe 2 ofs kind of deal in standard. I'm not exactly sure where it fits just yet.
I told you my strategy against Banefire, right?
What's that?
Black White Drain.
Oh yeah, just get out of range.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It's a red deck. Duress negate seems like a good target to me, although he is at 11.
I might take the. I'd take the Banefire.
Yeah. He just cannot find a land though.
The thing about the negate is he has so many spells to bait it. Like he has 2 Torment of Hailfires and a Liliana.
He does.
Like
he can't afford to do multiple spells.
Yeah, but I would just use one just to bait the negate and then probably try and save. Is that Karn?
That's a Karn. So it's a castable spell.
Yeah.
But it walks into that negate.
That's okay. You might as well eat the negate now because if you can get Liliana out of control, not the normal way where you get stuff out of the graveyard, but just building 2/2 menace zombies. I actually think that 2/2 menace zombies are pretty good against Imminent Doom. Like, because you can't spend as many spells taking care of 2/2 bears all the time. You just run out of spells.
The thing with Imminent Doom, you don't need to worry about them.
Yeah, you're
take
going
care
to the
of a couple, but then it's enough counters. You don't even need to worry about it. You just redirect to the face.
Right, but here, Paul doesn't have Imminent Doom or anything to stack it yet, so I think Liliana can get out of control real quick.
But he's gonna get Imminent Doom.
It's imminent. It's true. It's imminent. It's true.
It's just going to take a while.
Oh, that's so good.
So, Gutter Snipe, do we play it? It looks like he's playing out the Gutter Snipe.
Because I think right now you're on the not Doom plan. You've got Steve to 11. You have to try as much as possible just to pick him off with what you got left.
I kind of like the pull from tomorrow end step, because right now he only has 3 men up. He cannot pull from tomorrow. He can't Escanta.
Yep.
So he has no instant speed play. Pull from tomorrow, he would have been able to draw 4 cards, discard 1.
Yep. I think he's just trying to get as much value off his spells to finish Steve off as possible.
Yeah.
Because if he can't get Imminent Doom, you might as well get like 2 or 3 Gutter Snipe triggers.
If Gutter Snipe sticks,
yeah,
it's going to do a lot of work.
Exactly.
We know Steve probably has a good hand because he's missed several land drops.
Yeah.
So his hand, every time you miss a land drop, your hand is filling up with more spells.
He picked his 5th
he did hit his 5th.
Stronghold up, so he can try and slab Liliana here, which he's going to do. Interesting thing is, I don't think Steve has any creatures in his graveyard, so I think he's just going to make zombies. But we'll see.
Now, as of Dominaria, Gutter Snipe no longer able to pick off Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Used to be able to redirect.
It's a loss of life, right? Or
it's damage to each opponent.
Each opponent. Okay, so it's not any target. It's each opponent.
Now, he used to be able to redirect damage to an opponent to a Planeswalker. Not anymore, so Liliana not in any risk from the Gutter Snipe right now, other than being attacked.
But the Banefire can just smash it, can't it?
Banefire can still deal with it. Lightning Strike deals with it.
Yep.
Looks like he's just going to the head with the Lightning Strike, though.
Yep, and then the Banefire the next turn cannot be countered for 5. And it'll
Plus
get a cast
trigger.
Yep.
Oh, we never found a Doom. That is a opt.
This is theoretically more mana. Or, sorry, more damage.
Yeah.
Because it gets 1 more Gutter Snipe trigger. And the Lightning Strike with
should
the
finish it.
That should do it. That was cool.
I like the Doom.
Yeah.
Steve, if he had not been stuck on 4 the whole game, there were a lot of windows where he could have come back.
Yeah. It was a little rough. It was like 3 turns, basically. He wasn't able to play anything of note.
Yep. It's rough when the deck